Hey guys, and welcome back to another one. And here we are with another smart meter, but this one we can actually call it smart because it works really well. So I'm really pleased to say that and share with you guys that at the third really got it. Now, for those of you that have been following the channel for the past few months, we have tested the FRG Hub, which was a disappointment both in software and also on the hardware side. And when I mean hardware is only on the measure. It was not accurate at all. Now, after that, I went with the OWL, which was a mixed feeling right over here. I was really happy with the software. It was really nice, well designed, intuitive, really simple. I actually preferred the OWL software than this one that I will show you in just a few moments, but it was really inaccurate as well. Now, right now, I've got the Mirubee Mirubox. I will leave a link down below so that you guys can check it out, but it works really well. And when compared with other meters that also work well, but they're not smart, and comparing with the most important, which is my electricity provider meter, then it works really well and it's accurate. Now, in terms of the software, which I will show in just a few moments, it's basic, but it has everything that I need. Now, moving on to the quick unboxing experience so that you guys can compare with others that we have seen here. Once we open the package, it's the simplest one. We will find the sensor, we will also find a clamp, and in my particular case, I did purchase an extra clamp so that I could measure my solar PV panels. But for those that don't have PV panels, you can just purchase the package, which comes with one clamp, and it will be more than enough for the consumption. Now, in terms of the installation, it's very simple, very similar to what we have seen in other units like the FRG and OWL, but it's even simpler. And simpler because it only has one unit. It's the sensor and the clamps. Now, the other units, we had sensor and then a network hub to connect to our router. In this particular case, all we need to do is to connect the sensor in our circuit board. I actually need to connect it to the electricity, as you guys can see by some images, while the others that we have seen in the past used batteries. This one here will be fed with the electricity, so no worries about batteries. And once I finished the installation, the most curious part was to see if it was accurate or not. And guys, once again, this is the most important part, at least for me. It's really accurate and it works great. So this is the best feedback that I can give you. Now, in terms of the apps that we can use it on our mobile phones, tablets, iOS, Android, and so on and so forth. And we can also use on our computer or any browser, any device that has a browser. I'm going to do this in two ways. I'm going to show you here live, similar to live, the app on the phone so that you get a feeling. And then I already record the detailed part, what we can see on a computer with a lot of more info and so on and so forth, so that you guys, for those of you that are really interested in this, can see it towards the end. Now, that being said, guys, I will invite you to take a look at the screen right now, and what we can see on my phone right now on this first screen is the power consumption of the house. So at this moment I'm consuming roughly 800 watts, and if I touch to the right, I will see my solar PV, which is producing roughly 1460 watts, and so I'm injecting in the grid 500 watts at this moment, more than that. Now, if I move once again, I will see a channel 3, which is an option that we have to add a third clamp. In my particular case, I didn't require because I don't have anything else to connect. But if you guys have, I don't know, 2 PV systems, or if you want to measure any other system apart, then you can add this third clamp and it works great. But that's an option, and depending on our case, it will be necessary or not. In my particular case, 2 are enough, and that is it. Now, if I move here at the bottom, we will see a pie chart, which will show me 2 kinds of info. If I want to see the amount of euros that I'm expending each day, I can see, or if I want to see the kilowatts hour, I can see it. And of course, I can change from day to month to year and so on and so forth. I'm not going too deep here because I don't want to bore you too much, and I already talked about this in the next video that you are going to watch, in this video right over here, but next excerpt. Now, I can also change the dates and so on and so forth, and then I've got a graphic area right over here, which you guys will see it in the vertical because I'm recording in a vertical, but you will see that it's very useful to see what I've produced or not. Now, yesterday was a very cloudy day, as you guys can see in the solar PV production, It has been like this for the past few days, but it's just the way it works, and the device captures this really nice, so you can adjust your consumption according to the weather that we have. Now, one more thing that I would like to show you guys is that on the left side of the screen we've got this menu right over here, and it will give us almost all the options that I've got on my computer. So I'm not going into much detail here because in the next few minutes you will have the chance to see all this on the computer. Guys, what I can say is that it's really complete. If you ask me, hey Robert, what about the software? What's your opinion? My opinion is that the OWL was more complete in terms of software. I did prefer it. But this one here being almost 100% accurate, because it measures the voltage, measures the power factor, and that gives us a great accuracy in terms of watts per hour being used. And the software not being what I prefer, it has the basic tools that I need to be able to make my house take advantage of the solar PV. So I've got what I'm consuming, I've got what I'm producing in terms of solar PV, and that will be more than enough so that I can take a few actions when I'm not at home. Turn off this device or turn on that device and so on and so forth, which is just great. And that is it, guys. I'm going to finish up this part of the video right over here. We are already with almost 7 minutes. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of the video, so that for those of you that are really interested in getting one of these devices, especially the Mirubee Mirubox right over here, can take a look at the old software. And if you guys still have any questions, drop them down below, and I will be as soon as possible here writing and answering as best as I can. And that is it. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto Jorge, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one. And here we are with the software of Mirubox Mirubee. Now this is the home page, which will show you the real-time consumption at this moment, which is 770 watts. And we can also change to our solar PV, just in case you have a solar photovoltaic system, which in my particular case, it's producing at this moment 400 watts. It's 9 o'clock in the morning roughly. So this is what we will find. We also have a third option to install, which I didn't install at this moment, but we can do, and it's measuring a wrong value at this moment. So moving on, what we have here now, it's the energy breakdown. This software will try to detect some of the devices that we have at home, and then it will try its best to read the consumption, and it will attribute. Now I can't really give feedback yet. I will need to wait a couple of months probably to give you 100% accurate if this is accurate, if it's close to it or not. So far I can't give you my opinion yet. Now, one of the things that I really like is the graphics that we have available. As you could see, yesterday was a very cloudy day, so crazy on the solar PV right over here. This is when the cloud comes and goes away, but this is a really nice tool, and this is what I use mostly to accurately put some devices working during the day to use my solar PV. Now, as I said, we also have the third option to include another clamp, but I'm not using. And in here I can zoom in if I want to inspect a certain area closely, so it's really nice. I can reset the zoom, and I want to show you guys, that's why I have this open here, one nice sunny day, and we are in April, but as you can see, one of these days we had a few clouds, but nothing special. And right here I can take advantage of my solar PV and make my calculations and put the machines to work when I've got sunshine. So this is the ideal day for me, and that's one of the things that I wanted to show. Unfortunately, we still have a few clouds and rain and so on, and it's the way that it works. But basically, this is the home page. We also have the option to show on a daily basis. I can see here in terms of April what we had, and it will show us here the total consumption for April and the breakdown for these machines. Once again, I cannot accurately say if this is working well or not. I will need more time, but regarding this, it's actually really cool and accurate, as I said. And I can move here to see the previous month, which was when I did install in March, so I'm working with it for about 2 weeks or so. And lastly, we have the year, which will show us by month right over here on the graphic, consumption and production, and we also have the energy breakdown right over here. Now, if I go to the left side over here, I've got a few more options, one of which is just a few tips on how to save and how to adjust our consumption. Here it gives me the information of the power peaks that I had, maximum of 4.5, which would lead me to probably decrease the power that I've got on my contract, but I'm going to leave it as it is. And then most used appliances, this is still under test. I'm not really sure if it's accurate or not. And then the consumption habits. As you guys can see, this it might be a useful tool, and here just showing me that I'm using a lot of energy when I've got sunshine, which is normal because I'm using my solar PV to reduce my costs in terms of electricity. So this is a good overall panel. In here I've got the solar, which honestly I don't use. It's nice, it has a nice graphics and so on and so forth. I can enable and disable these graphics here, but I honestly do not use it. I prefer to do my own calculations based on the graphics that I've got here and based on other meters that I've got also. So although it's useful, I do not use it. Now in terms of location, this is basically our house, where it is and so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. Meters, it's the meters that we have. I've got two. Channel 1, which is my mains, my consumption, and then channel 2, the solar PV. And of course this sensor also allows to connect a third one, which in my particular case at this moment I don't see the need for it. So moving on, we have the tariff right over here. In my particular case, using the simple, I just placed the cost here and the contracted power that I've got at this moment. Appliances, one thing that I cannot give 100% accurate. I can just give you my feedback here, which was initially I thought that the algorithm would discover all the devices that I've got, but it doesn't. I have to add a new device. If I have a fridge, I will add the fridge. If I have a dishwasher, and so on and so forth, so that the algorithm knows what kind of devices we have, and then afterwards it will try to detect each one of them so that it gives us the results. Now there are a few that we will train manually, which is the case of the coffee maker. I already made 2 tests, as you guys can see right over here. It detects, and now I'm waiting to see. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I already did to the toaster, and now I'm waiting to see if the readings are more or less accurate. But honestly, guys, this is something that doesn't really matter to me. The most important part is this one here, the instantaneous, and of course the historic graphics, so that we can adjust our consumptions to the production in case we have the photovoltaic system, like I do, of course. And then we have the roles, which if I want to give permissions to other people, and then finally the questions that the algorithm will do. It only made the question so far. Did you put on the day, on the 31st of March from 2 o'clock to 20 past to the oven? And I'm honestly not sure, because I had a lot of things working. So my answer was this one. I'm still waiting for the algorithm to make more questions so that we can help the system to recognize devices and so on and so forth. And then we also have a few options here, but just configuration in terms of language and so on and so forth. And that's about it in terms of the software that we will get for the Mirubox from Mirubee in terms of a browser.